shared pepperoni pizza and beer with the authors. Due to the cooperation of the participants, we have managed to reconstruct dialogue extensively. By necessity, this involves calling on sometimes selective memories. It is important to remember that, as Ken Auletta wrote in his definitive Greed and Glory on Wall Street, no reporter can with 100% accuracy recreate events that occurred some time before. Memories play tricks on participants, the more so when the outcome has become clear. A reporter tries to guard against inaccuracies by checking with a variety of sources, but it is useful for a reader and an author to be humbled by this journalistic limitation. We couldn't agree more. However, it should be noted that in reconstructing critical meetings, we often were able to interview every person in the room at the time. In many cases, that amounted to as many as 8 or 9 people. Where their memories have differed significantly, it is noted in the text or a footnote. Where a thought or impression is conveyed in italics, it was supplied by the person in question. A word about significance. Those looking in these pages for a definitive judgment on the impact of leveraged buyouts on the American economy will no doubt be disappointed. It is the author's contention that some companies are well suited for the rigors of an LBO, while others are not. As for RJR Nabisco, it is important to remember that an LBO is a creature of time. In most cases, its success or failure can't be determined for 3, 4, 5, even 7 years. The events in this book constitute the birth of an LBO. At this writing, the reborn RJR Nabisco is barely a year old. The baby looks healthy, but it's too soon to predict its ultimate fate. We would like to thank Norman Pearlstein, the Wall Street Journal's managing editor, who gave his blessings for a leave to do this book. We are immensely grateful to our editor, Richard Cott of Harper & Row, for his keen eye and unflagging encouragement in helping us negotiate our first journey into publishing, his assistant, Scott Terranella, Lorraine Shanley, who brought our project to Harper & Row's attention, our agent, Andrew Wiley, who isn't nearly as nasty as people think, his colleague, Deborah Carl, for plenty of on-call hand-holding, and Steve Swartz of the Wall Street Journal, who provided invaluable advice on shaping the narrative. RJR Nabisco and numerous players in the RJR drama were helpful in supplying photos. Thanks are also due John Huey, who, as the Wall Street Journal's Atlanta bureau chief in 1988, gave John Helyar rein to delve into RJR. As editor of South Point magazine in 1989, he allowed him to finish this book before reporting for duty. The unsung heroes of a project like this are our wives. Betsy Morris served double duty. As a Wall Street Journal colleague, she was among the first to discover Ross Johnson and chronicle the emerging RJR Nabisco story. As John Helyar's wife, she put up with long weeks' absences and long days writing. Likewise, Marla Burrough was the manuscript's first reader, copy editor, and a source of unlimited support and patience. Their advice and guidance are marked on every page of this book. Bryan Burrough, John Helyar, October 1989. Prologue. For hours, the two men sat on the back porch, talking. It was as peaceful an afternoon as the younger man, a lawyer just down from New York, had ever seen. On the horizon, the sun was a sinking red ball. Below, delicate, snowy egrets poked through the reeds of the intracoastal waterway. It seemed a shame, Steve Goldstone thought, as a warm Florida breeze tousled his thinning brown hair, to introduce black clouds into such a postcard landscape. He took no pleasure in the dire predictions he was about to spin, but it was his job to play devil's advocate. No one else seemed willing to do it. Someone has to tell him. They sat for a few moments in silence. Goldstone took another sip from his gin and tonic and glanced at the older man sitting in the patio chair beside him. Sometimes he wished he knew Ross Johnson better. They had met barely 3 months before. Johnson seemed so open, so trusting, so, how to describe it? Yes, naive. Did he realize the